Hello, I'm very pleased to be part of the international conference on interactive digital media. My name is Predrag Nikolic, and I am full professor at Predrag University, Novi Sad, Serbia, associate professor and principal investigator in ShanghaiTech University in Shanghai, China, where I am at the moment, and adjunct professor at College for Creative Studies at Detroit, US. I'm going to present a paper titled Designing User Experience with Sonic Metaphors. So we're going to start with the sonic interaction design as a multisensory design approach and how we can use actually sonic interaction design to deliver genuine and authentic user experience. In our paper, we are defining sonic interaction design as a multisensory design approach where sound has a primary role in developing user interaction with electronic design or the devices or digital systems and giving meaning to user engagement. There are different applications of sonic interaction design and sound as a element of interaction, which is building user experience. But in this particular case, I was using sonic metaphors to recall memories from users, and by recalling memories from users, to actually lead their decision making as well as reasoning, and finally developing their user experience related to meanings they could detect or they could perceive from the sounds they use to interact with the interactive system. In this particular case, we are talking about interactive installations as a playground for the experiments related to user experience design and new techniques of interaction through audio interaction or sonic interaction. The key novelty of this paper we define as using sonic metaphors as a new tool for interaction, development of new creative vocabulary based on sound meanings, and utilizing acoustic information patterns as a novel way of enabling access to the digital environment. It means in particular that when we are talking about sonic interaction and all kind of devices now we are using to interact with sound and with the words. Usually we are relating those devices, and the interaction is based on human commands. So humans are using everyday words to command or to send certain requests to the system, and we can refer to Siri, to Alexa, all kind of artificial intelligence devices and smart devices we are using nowadays. But in this particular case, we are developing user experience based on certain type of sounds and certain type of audio expression, human audio expression, which we are relating to particular meanings, and those meanings could be related to either some memories or could be related to certain commands or certain outcomes we are getting from the system, which is related to previously performed interaction. Now I would like to actually introduce three experiments we did as a part of this research, and throughout these experiments, we also did an interview with the participants and try to define and come up with the findings. If this approach, which consider usage of different sounds, particular sounds with particular meaning, can actually perform and be involved in developing of user experience, which can be more emotional and led to various or different dimensions of human perception. So the first project and the first experiment is interactive installation before and beyond, which is actually multi-sensory interactive metaphorical voyage inspired by string theory and body distance related socio-emotional relationship development. In particular, in this installation, we are trying to provoke social situations that affect the installation appearance by using human interactions, multisensory stimuli, scientific context, and playful surrounding. For example, we are talking about the degree of intimacy and how people move and behave, and their behavior reflects to aesthetic and interaction concept that will work well. When we are talking about the usage of sound and sonic interaction design in this project, after addressing strings to participants, every string was emitting actually different sound, and that sound was attached as a digital twin to the participants, in this particular case, string. So participants, they had their representation in digital world, but not only visual, but also sound interpretation. And we try to figure out if sound can have the same effect of users such as visual representation, which is well known as a method to immerse users in digital environment and digital spaces by giving them, for example, digital twins. We are actually calling avatars. But in this particular case, we wanted to test if we can achieve a similar or equal result with usage of sound. And the results and the findings from this experiment are actually in detail explained in the paper. And those findings are available in publication, and as well as conclusions we made after collecting the results and come up with idea what was actually correlation between an interpretation between users and the participants. The second experiment was and is interactive installation room. This is really interesting installation because what we did in this installation, we used the sound of car engine. Usually we are producing when we are kids, and when we want to actually kind of act and perform the experience of driving car. So to pretend that we are driving car, but beside the beside the steering wheel, the imaginary wheel, we are also, in order to improve that experience, we are making the sound of engine. So that kind of memories and that kind of behavior from the childhood we used in a sense of development of social sound interaction. So the installation itself is based on the fact that we can address certain sound to movement, as well as we can travel by using that sound, we can actually travel to our childhood. And by using that emotional trigger, we try to develop a unique user experience. And not only that, but the users, when they are actually producing that sound, so that the system is triggered only by that particular sound, which has a certain meaning and deep emotional meaning for us. We also created a dynamic digital representation of moving on the road, and we use the road signs to actually extend that experience toward the language of symbols. So not only that we are triggering a user experience with a sound familiar from the childhood, but also we are using storytelling based on road signs. Also, we did an interview with users, and we use a bit different categories beside interpretation and coloration. We also use intuition, so how the interface itself was intuitive for the users, and how they actually understood what they need to do, and how after they understood what they need to do and how to interact with the installation, how that affected their immersion into the experience we wanted to achieve. The detailed results are presented, as I said, in more detail in paper, as well as conclusions based on that findings. And the last experiment presented in this paper is sensory and static sculptures, where we use the magnetic field as a creative media. So we created invisible sculptures. So those sculptures are not visible, but when we are trying to move our hands, the magnetic field is affecting, giving certain electromagnetic pressure on our fingers, and that pressure is followed with a sound. So every form we can feel as a electromagnetic friction is actually followed with a sound. So the installation is invisible, so it's invisible for our eyes, but actually we can hear the installation and we can touch the installation. The whole idea was, when we started with this project, was to create experience which will be equal for the people with this, visual disabilities and normal people. And by doing that, to create unique experience, which is kind of a perspective angle or perception which is beyond of visual, and equalizing people with different physical preferences. We, in particular, we were interested in hearing from the audience opinion about sufficiency of the used technology, detection of the variety of forms they could have, let's say, touch, but they couldn't touch as a magnetic frictions, sound tactile correlation from the user experience perspective, and the capability of medium to communicate inclusive ideas. On the end of the paper, after we did all these three experiments with the different goals, but by using same way of interacting and developing user experience, we come up with conclusion, which was based on sonic features in the installation we presented, user-directed, and their choices toward establishing new interpersonal emotional relationships, because we used sound as a tool or as an element of not only developing the user experience but also developing the correlation between users, either users at the spot or users with the same emotional preferences, like in installation room. On the end, our future direction would be toward using sonic metaphors further, because further in development unique user experience, because we believe that sonic metaphors can be used as creative vocabulary to enrich existing and exciting novel design practices, and actually improve experience when sensory limitations can vastly affect the interaction process and engagement. Thank you very much. It was again a big pleasure and honor to be part of this conference. And I hope you enjoyed in this presentation. Thank you very much.